So I started out with this tool right here to make a shape, a rectangle. If you want to see how I did that, I did that. And then I can use this over here to color it or make it transparent. The little bar means it's transparent, but I could, fill it with red if I wanted to. Plus, excuse me, the stroke is must be allergy season already. I was out for a long walk this morning. Um, and then there's the stroke, of course, which gives an outline. So what you're seeing as far as right here is just the outline. And then I took this tool, the path tool, or they call it the curvature tool. I still call it a path tool because it looks like a path tool to me. And the pen tool and a combination to make these little points. And to make this kind of erratic and squiggly because, TrashSexy does not belong in a clean cut, clear frame. In fact, and as you see, I actually did. Actually, I just lied. I said it was transparent. I kept the white background on this so I could hide this part of the frame behind it. Let's see where I was. Throw another tool in there, and then I could just move it using the direct selection tool. Do they still call it that? So I've been using these. I've been using these tools so long. I'll fully admit that sometimes I continue to call it something that it was called, 10 years ago, and in whatever program I'm using. I'm also thinking I'm going to just change this a little bit to make it a little bit less symmetrical as far as the corners. So years ago, one of my design professors gave me the tip. I want to make something more interesting. Make sure the corners are all a little bit different. That there's a different element at each corner. Same goes for photography, which most of you know I have quite a bit of experience in. And that's really helped me. So I really try to vary up the corners, especially on a design like this that I want to be a little chaotic, a little crazy. So speaking of chaotic and crazy, I'm going to save this. By the way, you should always save all of your work all the time. So I've set this all up. And speaking of crazy, now's the time to put some raccoons in here, right? That's the goal of TrashSexy, to have crazy raccoons. Art by Corey and Jeff. And here she is. This is wrong screen. This is one of the most played characters in the game. People love her. Her name has been everything from pumpkin to pepper to cinnamon to Annette to whatever. People love this character. So I just opened that up in Photoshop. So my goal is to make it transparent and bring that over to Illustrator. So I think I'm going to start by using the Photoshop cheat, select subject. So as a person who used to have to do all of this manually through direct selection tools, and very careful tracing and spending hours doing it, I definitely think clicking a button is kind of cheating. But I understand that's the way of the world. Select it. I Command C or Control C, and I'm going to paste this into a new layer. And it'll automatically paste into a new layer. Now in Photoshop, if you're not familiar with layers, they're the core of Photoshop. So you're getting your free graphic design lesson here too, as part of my Patreon. I should blur parts of it out for the YouTube. That would be quite capital, right? Wouldn't it? So yeah, I have two programs open now. Well, I have three. I have OBS. I have OBS Studio, and then I have Photoshop, which I'm currently working in, and Illustrator in the background. But I'm gonna just deselect. It's a perfect match, right? Too easy. And if I turn the background off, I get a selected raccoon. Now I'm gonna save that right now, just in case it crashes, which it almost never does. Okay, well, we're not gonna save it as a JPEG. We're gonna save it as a Photoshop image. And we're gonna say Bumpkin Trailer PSD in case I want to use it in the future. And did I already have her as a PSD? I think I might have started this the other night and I never finished it. And now I'm going to... Oh, it's asking for something else. Okay. And now I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to export this. Quick export as a ping. I'm actually might crop her down a little bit too. for the reason being that it doesn't really need all this background for dropping it into I'm using the crop tool. By the way, I've got 30 years of experience with this stuff. So if it looks like I'm moving really quickly, I am, because this is something I've done for quite a while. Crop that down, hit the return or enter key, and then I'm going to do a file, quick export. Quick export is ping. And bumpkin trailer, I don't want to save it there. I do want to save it in the characters. So I did actually save it in a different folder, which I guess is okay. Do I have a t-shirt folder? I should have a t-shirt folder. I always tell my students, make sure you have a folder for every project so you don't end up, losing your files and you don't know where they are. And here I am. Did I put it under my Fox and Boar folder? Possibly. So, t-shirts, there we go. And I'm going to make a new folder, art assets. Art assets, create a new folder there. And bumpkin transparent. So then I'm going to import or place. We're going to place an image. It's called place in Illustrator. So I'm going to have a couple different raccoons here. I'll hold down the shift key and scale. And for now, I think we're going to start there. It's okay to have her go a little bit outside of the lines. I think that's fine. I'm not sure exactly how many I'm going to have. I might have 3 characters. I think she's going to be a central character, so I'm going to leave her there for now. I can continue to adjust her. Now, the one thing I'm going to point out is that I'm going to put her on her own layer. I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it Bumpkin. And this is something else that my students, I struggle with them because they insist on just dumping everything in Illustrator and not putting it on their own layer. And I find that really frustrating when I go to look at their project, and they find it frustrating when they later go to look at the project and they don't know where anything is. So I'm going to start out there, and I'm definitely going to want 1 or 2 more raccoons in here. I haven't fully decided on what. So let me go back through. Now let's take a look at some of the characters here. Got the Bumpkin Farmer. I kind of want the back alley. I think the crud might be necessary. Or should I say the gangster, the back alley gangster type. The Richie's a good representation of a different type of character you can play. That one's a JPEG as well. Let me go see if I have that one. No, I don't have it. I thought it was strange I already had the PSD of that one. Probably because I already did this once. I have the ones from the expanded book too. The 2 TrashSexy book. But I think I'm going to stick with the core characters here. And I'm going to... Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to need to put the company logo on here too. So I'm going to move her up. And the company logo is probably going to go right down here. And you have to hold down the shift key to make sure it scales properly. I think I'll pull that company logo in while I think about which other characters I want.